Hello, hello, hello. This is VOS Network, Television Network. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever on the end of the world, to we listeners them, or we audience. Welcome back. Today is February 23rd, 2025. With me for this presentation today, let me co-host Mr. Jallo Jamboria. Mr. Victor Mengot is not here today because of conflicting matters we get for attend to, so we're not able for dinner for this show. But be that as it may. Next, my apology to Una because we normal starting time, or our official starting time should be 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But we usually never start at 3. We can start between 3 and 3:30. So today we're way behind. We start a little bit after 4 o'clock. So I apologize for the inconsistency. And I hope we will try for be more prompt, which we start in time than we have been doing in the past. For today's topic, we get a few things. Last week when we finish, we will get some topics that we want to get to, but unfortunately we'll not be able to get to them. And some of the topics then we will get to one for reach last week. Now topics then some of which the main presenter will have had to be Mr. Mengot, who is not here today. So, but we do have certain issues. If when I remember, Usa will stop last week. So Mr. Mengot, maybe for next week we will get all the same topic that we will get for catch up on. Like talking about the fisheries. What we want to do last week, we're not doing this week because of Mr. Mengot's absence. We will get to do with municipal ordinances and relationship to national acts of parliament. So all of those will be covered, hopefully next week. So for today, what you want for start, before I go into announcing the various or the respective telephone numbers for people for reach with, I want to make people understand some of the issues we want to deal with today. Issue number one will be we get what you call the Sierra Leone Law Society. This is a group of lawyers who were once part of the Sierra Leone Bar Association, the main body or organization or authority where they govern the activities of lawyers in Sierra Leone, the Sierra Leone Bar Association. The last official election ended up in a rancor of some sort will lead to a breaking away of part of the association and lead to a spin-off to another group called the Sierra Leone Law Society. So this Sierra Leone Law Society, they invite the president of the Kenyan Law Society for come for be a guest speaker. So, but then there is an issue concerning the safety of that invitee they coming to Sierra Leone. We just want to touch on that. Then we also had an issue concerning a paramount chief in Kenema, a female paramount chief whose chieftaincy was suspended indefinitely until they reach some type of resolution. Then we also get one for touch on the issue of a Dutch journalist, female journalist, who happened for them in Sierra Leone, and who was detained by the authorities then, and for about 15 hours subject to interrogation, and then immediately released. And I don't think she was asked to leave the country, but she left the country. So one for touch on that as to the process where they use for detain. I think she left with equipment being seized, so just one for raise issue about that. Then, of course, we get a major ongoing topic where Mr. Jamboria and the leading person on that that get for deal to terrorism, to the Terrorism Act and the Cyber Law Act, but the Terrorism Act itself. So, Mr. Jamboria, if we touch on that or go lead way on that, if we, after then topics that I just mentioned, if we get time, we'll talk on the because the cyber this Terrorism Act is a very elaborate act. So we say we'll touch on it bit by bit as we go along. Now, let me just remind we listeners them about the various phone numbers and sources for reach in case they want to listen to we program. So the VOS network get various numbers then. The main number will be, if you call from North America, we'll get a toll-free number. And that toll-free number then is 1-866-944-7722. 1-866-944-7722. Then we'll also get the UK number. We're in a +45 20 80 89 1455. +45 20 80 89 1455. If you call from Australia, which is also a free call, it will be +61 29 09 84 337. +61 29 09 84 337. Then we get a WhatsApp number. We not restrict you to any particular area of the world to call in, unless, as we always can say, that country that we call from get some prohibition or restriction on the use of WhatsApp. That WhatsApp number, otherwise you can call from anywhere on WhatsApp. It will be +1 343 997 5828. 1 343 997 5828. In addition to that, we'll get VOS radio. And I see we've been doing some fairly good work on the radio. I've been seeing some glimpses of it. Very impressive. The radio they carry also some visual images then. So on 91.9 FM, 91.9 FM, if you want to catch me on the radio, with respect to a VOS network or VOS television network programs there. In addition to that, the radio station will get VOS television mobile app. If you get them from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, it will enable you to get a better reception and download some of the things then over the broadcast about. Also, you can catch me on Facebook. You will catch me on YouTube. We will catch me on X, when I be formerly Twitter. You'll catch me on that. And if you want to go on Twitter, just go on VOS Television. And then you'll catch me on Twitch, VOS Television. Just go on VOS Television. You'll catch me on Twitch. One other thing we want to let the public know about is that the VOS gets what you call a net profit, a non-profit program going. Now the diaspora, because we try to give scholarships, we try to raise some funding for picking them with the struggle for good school, but they are high achievers. But the parents are almost destitute or very poor. They're not able to pay the school fee of the picking them, or even if not free school and they go, there are other things that will go with schooling, where the parents are not able to meet. So because of that, some of them picking and they, even though they score high and they do well at school, but are not able for go school regularly because there are certain things then by way of school materials they are unable to provide. So the non-profit is a form of trying to give them scholarship for make some of them good students there and not fall on the wayside. So that also is being displayed on the screen, and that will be vosdiaspora.org. If you go on the internet, vosdiaspora.org. So we strongly encourage people for if you get anything you want to contribute to that, there will be accountability um, uh, at the end of every year, I believe. So please feel free to make whatever contribution you can make. So going back to what I was talking about, let me just remind the listeners and again say, my co-host today, Mr. Jallo Jamboria. So I would let him introduce himself, then we'll go proceed in some of the topics then. Yeah, Mr. Jamboria, to you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Famulem, una good evening, una good afternoon, good morning, wherever una day. No say una been see me face yesterday, we dey come back today and we go talk what we need for talk and see how we can help for make we country go before. Because also don't reach now, I think we have for constantly they talk to we self let we understand what we need for understand and how we need for go forward. So they are back today with Mr. Shyllon. Maybe some of what you talked yesterday will come up back today. But at the same time, I'm going to continue to look at this counter-terrorism law and the other related laws them. Let me see if them laws then they really get for help we or maybe sometimes we don't see something they come now make we say law pass them lawyer something good for we in the future. And him and the man say we chief Belful now they make law. So now we see sometimes the chief Belful right now they make the law. One day we open up and say the law no go catch them. Over to you, sir, Mr. Shyllon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jamboria. Well, I think we'll say we will start off with this law society. And the word society, yeah, but knowing which in that what they mean now we own country. When we start talking about society, the implication can be easily misunderstood because beyond the Western area, even in the entire country, we get what you call secret societies. So that word society, every time somebody says society, that secret society they come to mind. So if I had anything to do with the legal profession, I will not even use knowing which in the word implying Australian. I will not even use name the organization the Law Society. We'll call it something else. We'll get to be more creative than that. But be what it may, we get which in, there was a dispute between the main body of lawyers, then what they call the Australian Bar Association. The Bar Association, now the weight people then bring them from the town where they colonize, where they introduce the rule of law in our country, based on the Magna Carta and all of that. And they've always called the Bar Association as a major body or authority or group or entity where they regulate the activities of lawyers generally, So it's been that way there for all this time until I think last year when they get some election, they get an election like Kenema, which I think was a very smart move because they need for spread the activities of such a national organization to different part of the country. It helps the economy because you see when then lawyers here or then group of people here go outside Freetown, then go help the local economy because they get for then go tap now hotels, then go buy petrol, then go buy what we call fuel, but then go buy petrol, then go eat in a restaurant, then go buy gift what we need for bring back. So they help the local economy. So it was a very smart move when they decide for just go ahead and do an Akenema. I think that was a very sound idea instead of doing it all the time in Freetown. So, but for some reason, somehow, it ended up whereby a substantial number of lawyers who still be members of the Bar Association were displeased with the outcome of the election we then conduct for officers for run the association. So there was a lot of discontentment, and there was no attempt to compromise the disaffection or dissatisfaction. And then in the end, a group of lawyers then broke away or split from the existing group of lawyers to form their own what they call the Shyllon Law Society. Okay, as you will see, if you look on the screen, you will see a picture of the executive the screen. Now, so it appears as if it's almost a 1-year anniversary, maybe not that, maybe for whatever reason, they extend invitation, this newly formed law group, where we call Shyllon Law Society, then try for invite the president of the Kenyan Law Society for come be a guest speaker. So, of course, that speaker, we understand the Shyllon Law Society, after they extend the invitation, the Shyllon Law Society wanted the endorsement or the approval or the cooperation or the agreement, whatever you want to call them, of the Attorney General for they want in signature of some sort, an official acknowledgement of some sort by the Attorney General for this Kenyan Law Society president for can be a speaker. In Australian, for whatever event the Australian Law Society then they get. But we understand, say, and somehow the Attorney General of Australian refused for give the consent for the invitation. So you're not required to do that, but they may just want for getting endorsement, for make it look and let it be like everything was being taken care of. So then the acting ambassador of Australian to Kenya also, when the local, the Australian Association or Law Society group contact the embassy, the acting ambassador for Australian Kenya, it is believed that this person say the acting ambassador allegedly claimed to be acting on instructions from the secretary to the president. I'm reading this now. To compound matters, that when they sought the assurances, the secretary of the president said they cannot guarantee the safety, the word safety, from the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice, who himself declined an invitation to attend the event. So they even invite the Attorney General. He declined an invitation. He refused to provide written guarantees for the guest speaker or the guest speaker's safety. So these are the situations. So because of that, I think the guest speaker did not come. Because if you tell somebody, say, if you're the kind of certain area, there is a presumption that the person will be safe. But if you say to the person, I'm not going to guarantee you safety, you can come, but you come at your own risk. That is what, to me, sounds like an implied threat, you know? So the speaker no come. So we'll go back to square one. These people, this is a professional organization. You see, this also they tell we, when we get, if professionally, this profession or this group, Australian, for all these years, 150 or more years, for as long as white people in Ghana establish the Western law in our country. They have had peaceful processes and elections. Now, we, as we consistently do with the blacks, they will go and point a finger to the white people. When we take over, we go, we do everything like hurricane, now a destructive path we take. So, and then you get this refusal, everything become personalized. We will not try for say this is a professional organization. And there are lots and lots and lots of young people who draw the organization, where they want the weather day for a while and then for set the pace, and then for set the bright examples, then we the one that we they come along for follow. Now all of a sudden we felt, for whatever reason, there should be two organizations because there was an extreme dissatisfaction by a group of lawyers. So my thing is, and of course, there is the headline we say them bar, them bar this woman where they come for speak, Australian, and just ban them or refuse them for come. But I think the word is too harsh. Maybe not that happen. She probably chose not to accept the invitation, not to come because she couldn't be guaranteed safety, you know. But you see, all in here not the tale well in our country. You know, there had been established rules and practices for elections for all these years. Everything, this is not just a small organization of lawyers. I say small because in the grand scheme of things, I believe there are other organizations, them secret or not, will get larger membership than we, your group of lawyers. We cannot even conduct research at the level of expectation in a professional way. It has to lead to dissension, will lead to the formation of another law society, which itself maybe it's not a bad idea because historically sometimes breakup can lead to better things, you know, because history is full of spin-offs in religion, in profession, in politics. You get some people that will become dissatisfied as a result of that, then go break away from established rules and practices or institutions to form their own, which might lead to something good or something bad. One good example that comes to mind is I think it was Henry VII, who, because until then, the Pope, Naim, the Roman Catholic Church, and the Pope in Rome, Naim they call the religious church, them even for people when people in England. It was when Henry VII went for married in maid Anne Boleyn. He want divorce the queen in wife because somehow a maid he don't fall in love with the maid and wanted to marry her. And the Pope said, well, in Catholicism, divorce is not recognized. So you can't divorce the queen. So for that reason, Henry VIII was so much in love or has this burning desire. I mean, Henry VII. And I start corrected, but I think it's Henry VII. It could be Henry VIII. Well, Henry VII. So what happened? So he broke away from the Church of England and from the Roman Catholic Church and formed the Church of England. You know, that's how the Church of England was established. And to this day, it has survived the test of time. So it's not always when a group broke away from another group, it's all bad. Sometimes they buy just by sheer numbers, it's good for less some of the other people. Even corporations, and they do that one. When a corporation get too big, then can break into what you call subsidiaries, form another name, form another branch, same ownership, for move on. So I'm not saying the breaking away is bad, but I'm just saying simply it would have been nice for them for keep the standard that has long been a well recognized established standard of the bar association, and the falling out should not have been based on irregularities of elections, and it should not have been such that both parties should not have been able to reach a compromise of some sort. But I don't think that is in the best interest of the country. It's not in the best interest of the profession. So that is something I wanted to comment about. And it's unfortunate that this spillover now, because the president of the Law Society in Kenya will have to know the reasons why she was not being assured safety for Sierra Leone. So this is the point, the time for to promote this cooperation and collaboration. We forget speakers then coming from other countries, speakers belonging to certain professions, coming to talk to young people then, for inspire them, and for come up bring some new ideas. Now we're at a situation where we just decide for say, let's break everything, let's burn everything. And the danger about all of this, unless we go allow the institutions here for survive and work, we're not going to make progress as a country. As a country, we're not going to move forward. You see, because we strangle all the necessary foundations them for be able for withstand any kind of advancement. So we just talk for say, to me, we the lawyers them, we for begin to think a little differently, a little progressively. It just all cannot be politics, and the politics is short-sighted because it's not beneficial. Instead of strengthening the rules of the bar association and trying to do everything within the confines of the rule of law, what we are doing is just undermining every, not only every institution, but every basic or every foundation of the rule of law. So I don't see how that is benefiting us. There is no short time, if even there may be very, very short time gain, but in the end, we're not going to get the best and the brightest for handle certain positions, and then if we not get the best and the brightest, how are we going to lead the country in this highly competitive world? So we young people, the best and the brightest might be leaving us, going elsewhere where they see better opportunities, or even opportunities not necessarily in terms of money making, but in terms of practicing your craft as you want to. You see? So all of this, when we begin to look at it, the leadership them for be more responsible than they are showing. It's not a personality thing for be. At some point, the big guy in the room, or the elder statesperson should step in and try to make. So I'm not suggesting the two societies or the two bar associations or the two bar groups getting together. I'm not suggesting that, but I'm just saying it is not a good idea when they had to split up because of what in the other side complain of having given the winning of the presidency of the bar association to someone they don't think won it fair and square, and that the government might have put their thumb on the outcome of the election. So that's the comment I want to just make for viewers them. Let me also remind our viewers them for say, as usual, the lines are open. So if you have any suggestions, any contribution, And if you want to make any calls, feel free. They are being reflected on the screen. The numbers they want to able call, so feel free for call. And let me ask my co-host if you get anything for church on what I just say about this splitting of the society before we go to the next topic.
Yes, I get plenty for say, but I go limit them. First and foremost, the Bar Association is not prescribed by any legal instrument in Sierra Leone to be the only association of lawyers. It's not in our constitution. There is no law prescribing that. It is only a convention that at one point in time, all lawyers felt they should be members of that association. The countries we took our laws from, the United Kingdom, etc., they have more than one legal association of lawyers. England has the Law Society, they have Human Rights Lawyers Association, etc., etc. The United States, of course, every state has its lawyers association, then get federal associations, conservative lawyers association, etc., etc. So for make anybody in Sierra Leone begin try for impose, say, it's only the Bar Association that should exist. That's the ultimate of ignorance, cowardice, deceptive thinking, and pettiness. There is no law that says the Bar Association alone. If some people are not happy with the way an institution is being conducted, by industrial and labor laws, then get the right for go form their own. Yes, that's an international standard that Sierra Leone has subscribed to. It's ratified by the Parliament of Sierra Leone. ILO standard 98. And I want all layers to check that standard there. The International Labour Organization Standard Convention 98 is clear about freedom of association. You see, if we say we're educated, we should be educated and behave like educated people. And being educated, not almost title you get behind you now, what you sabi we correct and how you apply them. There has been too much pettiness from that time we then conduct that botched election at Kenema. We'll see dance to me, make a dance to you, now social media to now. If we not don't conduct an election, a few people then say we not agree with this result, we they go form with own association. And the country be don't sign sometime in the 80s say we agree to this convention of freedom of association for every trade group. Because when they talk about trade, now we get this clear. Normally in Sierra Leone, when I say trade union, people think it's only about lower level workers. Trade union means any class of workers. As a matter of fact, most countries, developed countries, then get trade union of public servants or civil servants, and get trade union of lawyers, of engineers, etc. But when we get falsehood in Sierra Leone, we're not call them trade union. Institute of Engineers, it's a trade union. Yes, by qualification and by international convention. Institute of Teachers, it's a trade union. Bar Association is a trade union. Because all the laws about trade or vocation or occupation applies to these bodies. And the law, Convention 98, is clear that everybody gets a right of freedom of association. And with the CM now the developed world, United Kingdom then gets more than one bar association. America get more than one bar association. Even I don't well the one way them say law make one word. Then other people then say law go make we own. Now we now begin try for discourage the association from forming. Now they create all kind of tactics. They intimidate the guests with and say, like, can't talk to them. Although the lady ended up for talk to them by Zoom, they could not stop it. That shows the highest level of illiteracy, what they say, ignorance, and pettiness. And you'll be surprised. This man in the Attorney General's office was working for USAID. Does he want to say he doesn't know that there is freedom of association? Or is he playing ball by his master's voice? We can begin said and as they should be said. Because Sierra Leone is a country that lives forever. All of us acting in this pettiness will pass away. But if we not left the foundation now, Sierra Leone will cease to exist at some point. The United States as it is, with the very legal issues here and there, but it is still quiet. You know why? Because the people of the past built a foundation, they built a structure, then left legal instruments where the people still, they say, in as much as things are not working the way we want it, we are sure it will work out. The legal instruments are there. But in Sierra Leone, we they destroy the very things where they are sure we country of continuity. Because we they misapply and misinterpret laws. And some of us who are elders, we have to say it as it should be said. Whoever is not happy, I don't care. I don't need you. Maybe you need me. The lawyer society then get all the rights for exist. Because we had subscribed to an international instrument where say there should be freedom of association. That's what they are using. No more, no less. So why all this misbehavior? Acting High Commissioner, they go talk, say we know they guarantee you safety. You, Attorney General, the right to say, we want to let you assure safety, or you not reply. They invite you, you not go there. Nothing past ignorance and by that. And Munku, la end and this for now, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jamboria. In fact, just for expand on that a little bit, even in Sierra Leone, as far as I know, as way back as, because I did not want to become a lawyer after I had become a grown-up. I always aspired for be a lawyer, even when as far as I can remember. That's the only profession I was in love with. I liked it. And I was one of those students who can court class for go watch certain lawyers in a court, like the T.S. Johnson then kind, where they get case with the Boye, we go count and say T.S. Johnson they now court today. And there were some impressive lawyers, them like Abu Kuruma, those Johnny Man Mahoney. These were nationally recognized lawyers then. So I always just like the court system, even before I become conscious of what it stands for and what it does for and to society. You know, they also, in those days, back home, they used to have what you call the provincial bar association. The provinces, there was a provincial bar association.
Exactly.
Okay? Which was set up again by the white people then. So this was to enable the lawyers, and where they upline, there were not that many lawyers upline. Then, but then they get a provincial bar association where then the headquarters in Boye. You know?
Exactly.
You know, and so, which, you know, I mean, the bar association existed then, but the provincial bar association also was in coexistence, you know, become a thing of tension. And I believe, say, all the lawyers in the country were also a member of the bar association. And then, for just give example, in furtherance of what Mr. Jamboria had to talk, of course, media in a much bigger country, the biggest organization of lawyers, them, not the United States, at the American Bar Association.
Okay.
You know, then get, I mean, I would say hundreds of thousands of lawyers or membership. It's a huge organization where, and we not, one is not required to be a member. The American Bar Association is huge. It's a, I mean, it's just beyond the comprehension of anybody who practice law back home. You cannot even imagine the number of lawyers them who are a member and the number of lawyers who are not members. But then say in one state, like state of North Carolina, you get the state bar. When are they responsible for regulate the activities and the actions and the conduct of lawyers then? Then after that, you get the North Carolina Bar Association, you get the Capital City Lawyers Association, you get the North Carolina Black Lawyers Association, you get the Wake County Bar Association, you get the 10th Judicial District Bar Association, you go there on the federal level, you get the Eastern District Federal Court Bar Association, you get the Middle District membership, you get the Western District membership. So, like Mr. Jamboria said, that should not even be, but you see, exposure matters. If you are just, if you are, you go school in Sierra Leone, you get your education there, you know, keep up with what's in the corner of the wall. Within that bubble, then I so we will just try for set things for ourselves. But if we look out beyond we own area, we will see how, because the profession is the same. Lawyers are lawyers, that's what we say engineers. You know, that's why we say doctors. We're all doing the same work, presumably for the good of society. But so not to one body no more, and then at the Attorney General and the one that in power, and then for know how to work that situation there. You know, for make sure say, then companies, then groups there, professional groups there of the same profession can coexist, you know, and can collaborate in a lot of things. I mean, there is nothing wrong. And the way we do it, if me a member of the Law Society, there is nothing that will stop me from becoming a guest speaker at the Bar Association or for conduct a seminar to the Bar Association, and on and on and on, because this is where then collaboration and they make them progress. But we would draw a line of division. We make everything confrontational. You know?
And if I can add something, sir,
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
we should not confuse bar association with the legal council. The legal council is established by statute, an act of parliament. So nobody can form a duplicate legal council in Sierra Leone.
Precisely.
But a bar association is an association or a coming together of people who are lawyers. And an association has the flexibility to or not to be associated with. If certain people are disgruntled because of the way they conduct the last election, it's their right not to associate with that body. But lawyers cannot go against the dictates of the legal council because it's an established statutory body. You understand?
Yeah.
Before you are qualified to
Practice.
practice,
To be a
you
member
have
of the
to
bar.
be recognized by that council. Okay? That's where the line is. Bar association not get for recognize anybody as a lawyer. Not to them work that. So if una don't misbehave by election, people then say they no one for join una. Why una for begin continue for create problem? If not to pettiness and ignorance. If people want to be decent, okay, they can continue to talk to them nicely. Some of us are losing patience. So go talk rough now. Na pettiness and ignorance. Na in the cause them here. Na pettiness and ignorance. Sierra Leone should do better. We dey go all over the world, they all see we were at the Athens of West Africa. How did that Athens go into the bush? Which they will not know we ate from till now they sell cocaine and do all kind of thing. It's pathetic that our country has gone down this route. It's very pathetic. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jamboria. So, again, I appreciate the fact that even one quick thing, in fact, we Sierra Leoneans, them, at the United States, we even had an association, a nationally based association, what would be called Association of Sierra Leonean Lawyers in the United States, which was a bar association of some form. It was of
Did they stop you?
No, in fact,
Did
we
the
were
Americans
national.
stop you?
No, in fact, I was president for several years, and in fact, it went by the acronym ASLOS, and we did very well. It was nationally based. I mean, people came from New Jersey, California, Ohio, North Carolina, South Carolina, you name it, anywhere. We try for it to reach as many Sierra Leoneans as possible, and really, we were working in conjunction with the bar association back home. But then, but that's a story of another day. We run into people who probably didn't get a grasp of what it meant for us to work together uh, from the diaspora and back home. But so I just want to mention that. Let me take some calls as we go along. Then we'll go to the next topic. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
Yes, sir. Good evening again. Well, thank you very much. This team of young men. I don't know who said the other man go.
Hey, go. Hey, go
go
attend.
Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about, I go back on a pardon because always Mr. Kagwa listen to him program. So I want to react to one something why I read from one
That's
brother
fine.
talk
It's
from
one and the same.
Valley.
It's one and the same. It's the same umbrella. So go ahead.
Yes. Brother Valley, they try to defend the lack of electricity in the country. Say he talk a statement, say the power station then Akintom and Black Hall Road, then we don't hold the other one at 6 years, the other one at 10 years. Where the government people and talks in 5 years ago, and then shut them down. So I just want to make that information. The people in SSS that then talk because we didn't come, they meet all of those operational. So not to 10 years ago. I go one for maybe brother tell me exactly why you have this conviction, say whether you don't set this space for development for CAM after income come on power. Because the other man talk back, say, I think Brother Alusign talk, say the program where Madam you can take particularly free quality education is so magnanimous that say the fruits you're not able to see them. I want to Brother Alusign back say the free quality education they talk about, the free education don't begin way back in 1980s. Now gradual process will don't begin. Where mother beauty you can do. Now you can't just scrap the school fees when I 7,000 those we don't left there. And not to primary, it's not to junior secondary school, now senior secondary school. And you can scrap. And way past that, you make back say the public exam because you don't free from to up to Beke, but then they pay it from WASC. Now then one in day he can't put now he can't take over. So make when I left for the talk say now you can start free education or you able to see the result of the free education. Because if you come in and say Beke are free, now only 7,000 those be day now senior secondary school and the WASC fee. So now that information first I want to put in there. Secondly, I go on talk about the bar session I talk about. And this, again, I will talk about these laws they will get on they put in the constitution. Because anybody with the president appoint, he go on do in job for satisfy that man the Western status. Now make you see, even when I talk say the general understand the laws, come US aid, he can't do what he wants. Because he look over his shoulder, say, na person name put on day. Look now, they say one drug baron day in the country. The journalists will want go day. Them block her, they put blockade them, say, let no go day. Then do all what they do for humiliate the woman, take SD card, then take them back, then send them back. Literally send them back to the country. So what he make? Because then see the policeman we don't drink or we don't eat for go kitchen man. The actually the chief of police don't go ever talk about that man or for go kitchen man. They no go good day. Because what happen now? They say don't build fine house. If you did try, you know get better money. You talk on the police force, and at this age, retirement age, now they below. Now for telling us say that again for be loyal to that man who get that job, highly paid job to make get that house day. So everything hinges on that law. We didn't take the fine laws them, then take them, put one man, then put one tab, make them see who that they go doing job. None of look what they do to Camaremba. Then don't make the appeal for about 2 years, past 2 years, they not call them. When the person they talk, the judiciary get the God for call that man, they say they come back now, yeah. They know the fear, the whole world say would they see, we know what it happen. Because they want to satisfy one man. Until and unless we go back, we realize say that man, therefore pull and come up and the institution and they nothing no go function. We get all the laws that they say sovereignty belongs to the people, but that sovereignty belongs to the people now. It belongs back to the other man who's sitting at State House. Well, I go left and first, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mustafa. Mr. Jamboria, you have anything to say? Or I can take the other call. I can take one more call, then we can. Okay. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from? Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Mr. Shyllon?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Pretty good, sir. Good afternoon to you, too.
Yes. Is that Mr. Shyllon?
Yes, it is.
Yes. It's not supposed to be the 3 wise men today, not 2 today.
Yeah, the third wise man, he get some engagement, so you know that today. I'll be announcing in the beginning of the show.
I see.
But I will let him know. I will let him know you people miss him dearly.
2 wise men.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it may even be one wise man, Mr. Jamboria. But go ahead.
Mr. Jamboria. How are you? Mr. Shyllon, I got two. Well, the one a question, the other one expressed me feeling.
Okay, sir.
But the first one, a question.
Go ahead.
Mr. Shyllon, you're not a lawyer. You're not a lawyer, you don't practice law for so many years.
Yes, sir.
And I know I might be correct on the question where they asked you.
I hope so.
Now, recently we hear some announcement from the judicial. We say a man where they serve his sentence, then he get some, I don't know, kind passion or whatever, but come in himself, and the man come in himself, then later on, they issue bench warrant for him. But before the man come out, the man don't make appeal. He don't make appeal, so for the case where they say they convict him, so he may make an appeal. So the appeal will make, they not judge the appeal, they not look into the appeal. But from there now they give this man, the man is serving sentence, he is serving jail time sentence. But at reached a point they said, oh, this man sick in a way that they can make himself outside. So when the man can make himself outside now, so this man begin to talk something against them now. So they say, no, this man may get some case. He may get some appeal. So let's look into the appeal. So when the man was done at all now, so they issue bench warrants against them. Say for now they're ready for the case now. So they issue bench warrants against them, including the one-way stance of Tifora. I don't get into this. I don't know what kind of law this. If man is sentenced in jail terms, it ain't careful now. Because it's still in jail. They still it is served in jail terms. If this man want go, and when I know this man get appeal case, where we will not look into it. Today you common sense. I don't know whether they are fool or think there's somebody else when not the law. Within your common sense, before they allow that man to go out, they never look into that appeal for whether that man go free and the appeal or because he go lost the appeal. Then the law they make it go. I don't know what kind of idea that one. This kind says that when the attorney general went for advice, the judicial when the judicial were heard by the chief justice, went for look into that thing. They say no before this man go, then we look into a case first. I don't know. So the judicial, I might be correct. I don't know law. So that you and a lawman, but they go might be explained to me into details that I go understand why they do that. The second one is this guy is a gentleman. He always come on a show. Boy kind of show. He always try for intimidate you now, in a sense. Well, I'm going to do something or talk something out of the way. But I want to try to call a man their attention. This platform will create now privilege to all for talk day. And when we want to talk there, let us talk there for come bring sense come. Let us bring some idea come. How we move along go before. Because along the way along the go now is so bad in the way that we need for the guidance talk there, there's discussion here. But let us see how we're able to put things together. Although the government over here, we want to talk because they know why we talk them. Now what do they want to do now they do. But anyway, let them not say yes. So people that they talk, how to move the country go before. But this man not count any reasonable idea. It's not get attitude. The attitude where they come now for intimidate to that. And make this man realize not to get this platform. Now privilege now all give but they can't talk there. But you must all together that attitude there for come they talk. One day he talks to one man, may they say one part, may they accuse them and so forth. You see, the man gets so bad attitude, and it's a waste of time. If there be any reasonable idea, it was all right. But the idea it's a waste of time. And then you know, it's not a party platforms. If you want to bring your party camp, like you do. I think if you want to go to Mr. the other man in your show, Mr. Kagbo show. It intimidate Mr. Kagbo again. Say way, this particular man get attitude for the intimidate. Mr. Kagbo say talk to Mr. Kagbo, go to Mr. Kagbo. He started listening to two shows. He talked to Mr. Kagbo. Hey, Mr. Kagbo, he let me let what do you mean all that matter bio? Yeah, also he talk bad against them. The Mr. Kagbo the tell us say, I go talk. If we do bad, he go talk up. I know to Mr. Kagbo no force for that matter bio. If he share the man attitude. Enough for Mr. Kagbo no force for that matter bio.
All right. I think you run out of time. We'll give you, I think the system give you extra time or run out of time. But we hear what you to say. We appreciate that. We will comment on that. Let me take one more call. Maybe then we'll go proceed for comment. But your point is well taken. Hello, caller. What's your name? Which side you call from?
Hello, yeah, Mr. Shyllon, Mr. Jallo,
Yeah.
Jamboria. Good evening.
Yes,
This
sir.
is Abdul call from Maryland.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, I just want to interject, give me a little submission on this topic, this first topic owner. Before we go further, this is just advice to we the callers in that if a topic is on the floor for discussion, this is from my own experience as a teacher. Not blame me. At least let we not try to lose trend on within the with the discuss by bringing extraneous issues them come inside. We not on the topic of discussion. Because if we do that, we go lost the trend of the discussion and the essence of this program now for educate we and inform we. And most of the time, the discussions are so insightful, and we learn a lot. Anytime when I be on the floor, they learn a lot from una. That is an aside. Having said that, let me go to which I want to see. The law society may don't dey at the offing for decades ago, because when you listen to senior lawyers and even the former acting Chief Justice Brown Mark, he mentioned and saying that we don't dey in the offing for quite a long time, but during their own time, when they be active, when they just join the bar association, they normally start them. He said, but that after the issue, after the election, and it decided to call the two parties them together. And what me find out with the inception of this law society, there is deep politics that is entrenched. If we realize it is not peculiar this year, last year. It has been going on for decades. 12 or 14 years ago, if we realize on topical issues when they arise at the body politics of Sierra Leone, the bar association can come up with a statement. Then you see another set of lawyers where they dissociate themselves from that original statement with the bar association. If we follow it, when I take on a memory back, that would be. So for the past three, four presidents of the bar association, now that's going to be. So they find out the politics don't creep in into the bar association, that the bar association, and as it is at now, the bars they are divided along regional, tribal, and political lines. When I see the executive of the bar association and see the executive of the lawyers association, there is a deep wedge where divide the two factions. And if my memory can serve me well, I don't remember which judiciary official they get interviewed. Whether the advice where he say Justice Brown McGee that the two factions therefore can sit on the table and try to find a common ground, because they want for them all to live side by side, let them coexist. Just like what I mentioned in earlier, there will be so many associations, so many trade unions. Like what Mr. Jallo Jamboria mentioned, the legal counsel interprets independent. But let them also find a common ground, sit together, get a cool head. As long as it's going this way, anything where the law society want do, the bar association go stand in the way as long as them set of people here, then all the aim of affairs, na the bar association. So, me advice no more, let them just put the egos aside, then sit together, find a common ground, hash everything up, una put the election behind una, the bar association and the law society can coexist, then work side by side for the common good of all. By so doing, we all will benefit from waiting in the do. But if we continue so, this deep animosity and toxicity, it will continue for widening, and we will make the people not go get trust at the bar association and the law society. So I just for make this contribution as substance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Abdul. We appreciate everything. Okay. So, Mr. Jamboria, I don't know if you remember.
Mr. Shyllon.
Yes, sir.
The existence of the human race is an issue of collaboration, compromise, and negotiation. In this life, if you have tried to use all those tools and one side is not ready, then they are not relevant to you. You're wasting time. You see, now we get left for justify unity where people are not ready for unity. I'm glad the way the last caller talked about statements coming from the Bar Association, some people dissociating the politicization of the Bar Association, etc. That is very true. But the point at issue in Sierra Leone is, who is politicizing what? That's what we need to ask and answer. For a lot of people, when the cookie is not at their end, they are dissatisfied. When it is on their end, they want to use impunity. Hey, Sierra Leone is a country with so much. If one set of people cannot afford to negotiate and coexist with others, so be it. Let we begin use international instruments for make people them get them freedom. Sierra Leone signed the conventions of the International Labour Organization in 1961. Two main conventions, Convention 87, Freedom of Association and Protection of the Right to Organize Convention, and Convention 98, Right to Organize and Collective Bargaining Convention. Both of them were signed in 1961. Convention 87 was signed on the 15th of June. Convention 98 was signed on the 13th of June. If the Bar Association, an association of compromise, which is not by legal statute like the Law Council or Legal Council, if the Bar Association cannot maintain its membership because one set of people think they have to be dissatisfied when the cookie is not on their end, and when the cookie is on their end, they have to misuse the law, then if other people then say, "Let's go form your own society," they have a right. You as a lawyer know that any convention where a country don't ratify, that convention don't be part of the statutory instruments of the country.
Correct.
So now left for the downplay. If people don't want unity in Sierra Leone, let us avoid war. But now come with methods we go make them, we tell them, say, without you, we can live. And I think that's the process going on now. If we say now they together, when I don't draw this, the people then go form the association, una begin stifle them. They not get no obligation for big peace from una. Now not for big peace from them, because now una begin misbehave. Salon don't reach the point where we get for begin say certain things the hard way. No human being not get any right over encompassing human being in this life. We all have equal rights. You can be the richest man on earth. That man be the poorest man on earth. We not to get the same right of existence. That has to begin to be respected in Sierra Leone. Hey, then tactics here for open call intimidate. They're not a born person for them. They not get school for them. Now you they practice unwillingly. And the world on the rich side, if you say the open call you companies, I'll tell you, Sabi open call pass you. Because maybe he gets knowledge where you not get. Yes. If we want compromise, compromise should begin with the leadership. If you're not papa na house, your family they go apart. Now you the papa for begin the compromise. You not go there they bully one pikin for other pikin, then you expect the pikin for them in compromise. Life doesn't work that way. And it will never work that way. Not today, not until thy kingdom come. The law society, they don't do a thing and get for do. They know they are going to face a lot of challenges, especially from now on, if case they go court. But what I go advise is, the more you push people to the corner, the more you should expect reaction from them. Because they too have a humanity to protect. That's as much as I would say for now, sir, on this topic.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Jamboria. Yeah, we don't listen to the callers them with respect to this law society. Of course, we can say a little bit more, but because always we get restricted by time and we get a couple of more topics we want to deal with. But all I can say about this professional organization of lawyers, organizations of lawyers, I will hope they really grasp the significance and the essence of the profession itself. I personally, I fail to understand, and maybe someone need to educate me in that respect, the significance of governmental intrusion or involvement into by-election, not by-election, B-A-R election. I think they should have just let it proceed without interference, without any undue influence, for maintain the integrity of the profession and at the association itself. And it still can be rebuilt if they've lost anything. Like Mr. Jamboria say, compromise. Now, one of the characteristics that we the so-called leaders or the leadership should engage in for bring the two sides together, not for them to come back together in a sense of one organization, but for become coexisting organizations representing the same interest. And that go show with maturity, with development. It's almost like when you're married. It's one thing when you have said something to like you get violent, you beat them, you slap them, you this and that. That not a peaceful coexistence, and it not indicates any maturity in the person of the husband, because you can dish it out, but you can't take it. But imagine when your wife says something where annoy you so much, but immediately registers now your mind that, okay, she's entitled to her own opinion. In fact, what you just said so to me, if the law were not the law, if I wasn't as mature as I am, I would physically attack her. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give her the freedom of her standing her grounds, standing up to me, stating your position without fear of me striking her or bullying her or hurting her. That's maturity. When you recognize the strength of your position how you can abuse it, but you decide to exercise what we call self-restraint. This is the same thing we're talking about now. You see, not to every side because government get power, government get for being involved. Because again, like I say, the law is very tricky. Anytime government is involved for the wrong reason, it undermines progress. It undermines progress. How nice would it have been if the Attorney General had signed that endorsement or had endorsed that invitation day and then allowed this Kenyan woman for come, this can talk to the Bar Association, a lot of which we need more of. Zoom is good, but actual person appearing before now is a whole lot better. So it would have been a wonderful experience for the young lawyers. It would have been a wonderful experience for the even older lawyers. And the legal profession, like in the medical profession, just because you've been in it longer doesn't mean you know it more. There are very bright people coming out of law schools, medical schools, who in no time become better surgeons than the one that would train them, better lawyers, courtroom lawyers, appellate lawyers, corporate lawyers, marine lawyers, aviation lawyers, a lot of things. So in fact, I for one not to believe, say, I think all it takes for you to become very adept and very much knowledgeable of the field you choose in the profession where you go. Because medicine, you get several areas of specialty. Law, the same thing. Sierra Leone is not big enough, but now they get over 500 areas of the law. People going to make them living out of it and they become experts at it, you know. And you know, it takes less than 5 years. You need you get all the experience you need. No, for less than 5 years, you will become a very matured, knowledgeable lawyer. So all this thing about, you know, go hold certain position until you don't practice law for 15 years, you don't go hold certain position until you don't practice law for 20, it just, that flies in the face of reality. Because reality, I mean, younger lawyers, in fact, that's the way nature is set up. The younger generations come up with more ideas, more creativity, more resourcefulness than the outgoing or existing lawyers. And that goes for all profession, So we must respect the younger ones as they come in after us. That will not just feel so because we've been in the profession longer. We know it all. These youngers who are coming up, they know. It's just like take soccer, for example. Well, I played soccer and I was good at it. Okay? I'm in high school and in college too. But when I look at soccer today, even the ball wouldn't play. The ball, they move faster than the ball will be the football then will be the play then. Players are supposed to be faster and more physically fit than my days. I can tell you that. You see, that's how society works. That's the human progression. That's how it is. The younger ones, they will come with more creativity, more resourcefulness. For respect that. So I'm saying all of this, they'll begin to understand. But like Americans, they know in American lingua, you ain't going nowhere if you don't recognize them basic rules here of existence. You know? So it's not all the certificates on the wall. It's not, that's just part of it. But so it's time for them to give what we get, forgive the country, not to keep taking away from the country in terms of destroying infrastructures just in the name of whatever. It could be economic expediency or whatever it is, or political expediency. But I think it's about time we begin to concentrate and focus on really doing what it takes, because maturity is required. I'm saying this because I have been a member of a lot. I've been a member of a lot of bar associations. And without a doubt, because of Usa Ade, at the wall, we bar associations are far, 50,000 times, 1,000 times more sophisticated than back home. No question about it. You don't even come close. This is why I extend invitation to a lot of lawyers from Sierra Leone. I don't have to know you. If you're in my area, contact me. I will take you around. The court system, the courtrooms, the clerk's office, the clerk of court's office, the register of deeds office, and on and on and on. Some of them bar associations here, their offices. All I have to do is to let them know the guest I have at hand and why I want that guest there for see what's in the go on. There is a lot to be learned. And there's a lot we can do for people there. So that's all I can say. I've always extended invitation to lawyers because I think we all belong to the same profession. If you're in my area and you want to know something about the system, when I visited England, I couldn't get over my desire for not only for go now the Inns of Court offices or for go to Old Bailey, when I the surrounding for the court system, I had to go and witness proceedings because I was curious to know how the British then they try cases. Because then I was a much younger lawyer, I was a trial lawyer. I wanted to know the procedures. I wanted to see how the judges then the rule. I want to see how the lawyers then they object, then they raise objections. I want to see how then they cross-examine. I want to see how then they lead direct examination. That was my curiosity. So when I went to England, I think the next day, I was in the British courtroom, sitting down there watching, going in there, introducing myself. You know, but unfortunately, I don't see the same level of enthusiasm of lawyers over there coming this way, trying to meet people like us to expose them to the system. They do come here and go to classrooms and get certification for this, for some program and go back home, and but that's it. But let me move on. Mr. Jamboria, unless you have something else to say, I want to just move to the next topic, which is the suspension of the chief in Kenema district. But if you have any more.
Move on.
Okay, sir.
We cannot beat the cow to death.
That's exactly.
Let's move on.
Exactly. Then now I want us to move. I think some of when I went in Sierra Leone. Oh, by the way, let me just start a little bit of fun, but now bragging right. I have a schoolmate of mine who just posted na the screen. I don't think Mr. Jamboria saw it, but we have a bragging right that during our school days, I'm a product of Ahmadiyya Secondary School in Boye, which we consider the best secondary school ever in Boye during our time, with CKC and Boye School and UCC included. And we have a reason for that. So this guy just posted, he said, let your audience know that we had the best history teacher in the whole country, Mr. Wasim, who had a master's degree in history at the time. So I just want we can call and give me old schoolmate a shout out. He posted it on the thing. He might post them again. But let me go to the chief in suspension at Kenema. But anyone has a right to call and dispute what I'm saying, and we can set that for another day. Mr. Shyllon, don't forget that we had the best secondary school history teacher, Mr. Wasim, a Pakistani with a master's degree. Hey, I just said it. So thank you very much for reminding me about that. I'll keep the caller on hold. Let me just we have a situation involving the suspension of a paramount chief in Kenema district. And this suspension was by the, I think the Minister of Local Government, and apparently was empowered to do so by the Local Government Act. And this paramount chief is a female paramount chief, and she was suspended indefinitely by the minister, Tamba Lamina. I guess that's his name. without getting into, and then say this is a dispute between the paramount chief and a certain secret society in Kenema under the chiefdom. And the problem has been ongoing. So I'm not going to get into the facts with respect to what led to the disagreement. As a lawyer, I'm just simply concerned about the procedural aspect of the chief in suspension. You know, whether, number one, a minister alone. Okay, in the old days, such action would not have even risen to the level of a minister. The district, in my days, we'll call it district commissioner, will have handled that dispute there. And not go reach ministerial level for resolve. Okay, the district commissioner, of course, you know, we will get so fancy. In my high school days, we had district commissioners. But what we learn little more book, we figure say, oh, commissioner, not to the proper word down there. Now we call them district officers. So then change the name from district commissioner, which I like better, which sounds more dignified than British district officer. So this chief now is suspended indefinitely by the Minister of Local Government. As a lawyer, I'm just questioning the legitimacy of the minister in actions, whether he overstepping authority in suspending indefinitely the chief from his official duties and position as a chief. And it seems by what I've been reading, the minister is upset with the chief because apparently he wants the chief for behaving a certain way and the chief has not done so. So he just feels say he get the power. I don't know the chief, but I do know that not to so you the exercise power. Indefinite suspension, if you are going to suspend the chief, that should be done with all due process, you know, and the right for the chief for defending himself, the right, you know, because if you suspend her indefinitely, a lot of times suspension come about when you have engaged in egregious behavior and for the interest of society or the community. That it's like driving. You license, in most countries, they're not going to suspend that until you don't go to court, they're not find you guilty for the traffic offense where if you call for suspension. And in most society, your license is only suspended where you're not a repeated offender or you're not a dangerous offender in traffic, such as speeding in a public street, where increase the likelihood of somebody being hit or struck and killed. So sometimes, because of the nature of the speed, the law might suspend your license just for get your attention. So I take the same thing now. If the chief is being suspended and suspended indefinitely, so there is some presumption of guilt before being proven innocent. It should be the other way around. It should be the presumption of innocence before being proven guilty. So the chief is already being punished. So if that happened, there must be some aggravating factor, I would suspect, otherwise it should not happen, that led the minister to have suspended the chief. Even before getting into the fact or the hearing, because if you suspend the chief, the question becomes, how does she get back to power? Because this is a duly elected person. And these are some of the problem with the Local Government Act. Okay? I'm not questioning the reasonableness of the minister having the power to suspend. But I don't think you could get the power for suspend indefinitely, because that deprives the person of due process. That person in paramount chieftaincy should be, if it's going to be suspended, it should be suspended for a definite period of time. So the person can know what time frame he or she has to deal with. But you can't suspend her indefinitely and without giving the person a frame of time. And then you also usurp or take away the power of the people. You don't override the people and we elect the chief. You just disregard because now then chief down and they elect him. So you get one man who just take upon himself for whatever reason. Say, he will take authority from the chief, maybe because he don't want him or he don't tell him this or he don't tell him that. So again, we have to be careful of how we make laws then back home. We have to be careful of how we delegate authorities to the officials then, because otherwise we undermine the rule of law. Okay? And I speak with some degree of authority because I am not so sure, regardless of whose part you're born as Sierra Leone, that you go understand the native practices or the practice of the local people in up country than I do. I grew up there. You know, I'm very familiar with the court system. And the court system, the native administration court system, in fact, one wonders, what rights does the chief have in terms of filing some petition for restore in chieftaincy or restore him to in chieftaincy? You see, this is where due process, because there's a thing called procedural due process. What are the steps? Now the chief is suspended. What right does she have to contest whatever the basis is, if there was any basis for the suspension, or was just a sheer power play by the minister? These are some of the bad things then why can they attack the Local Government Act. When you get the district council, you get the mayor, the minister of local government just get the power for override the mayor and in council. By we own standard, at the Sierra Leone standard, it's unconstitutional. It should be challenged. That Local Government Act, they get a lot of defects. It's an obstructionist statute. It impedes progress. It promotes corruption. They need to revisit that statute. They were going to bad law. Again, when I say this is not from me, your humble opinion, and based upon my basic understanding of the law. Now, like I say, the legal profession is such that we believe in the concept of the reasonable men can differ. So if anybody in the legal community disagree with me, you're welcome. Contact with producer. You can kind of the show. You can educate me. I'm not claiming I know it all, but I get a basis for express some position on some of them laws here. So when I read about this chief being suspended indefinitely because there has been ongoing disagreement between the chief and a certain other group of people, I'm saying, okay, but to suspend the chief indefinitely and waiting at the process we then use, that process needs to be examined. This is how you get for train the lawyers then back home. How? Because there may be no procedure set as to how to get this case how to get the matter to court. You know, should you go to court for ask for injunctive relief? Get or we don't know, or waiting at the court of first jurisdiction. Is it the magistrate court? If in fact there's a process how to take the matter, how the chief for contest it, or should it be the NA court? And the NA court, the body of laws, they know that developer. Everybody want to do this Western law, but the NA courts are very well equipped. The Englishman and set them. It has real good checks and balances and fairness as part of in structure. You know, for a long time, I was involved as a child with the Salmons people. We're going to court, so I'm familiar with the NA court system, very much. But now that we have a constitution, everything has to be done constitutionally. So if the minister, they hear me, if somebody will know the minister, if the Attorney General of Sierra Leone, they hear me, I will appreciate contacting me, come now, we show, tell me, say, I'm wrong, you people are right, there are constitutional safeguards, the minister get the absolute power, or abusing power, abusing power, that they follow the regulation, and the regulation consistent with the dictates of the constitution. And that's all I want to know, because I think we have to hold the officials here and feet to the fire. So again, I don't know the chief, but I'm just speaking for all chiefs, all the chiefs them. Now, and the group where they say this chief I get problem with, I don't see how that group there with the chief cannot coexist. They don't have to cross path at all. Them functions, because there are secret societies all over the country. In Freetown area, you have the Ontin, you have the OJ, you have all kinds of things. And then up country, you have them everywhere. But they don't get for run at a cross path which the chief functions. Because the chief is an administrator for everybody, for everyone. And different. Therefore, he get a broader scope, or where we get for look at in terms of making sure the rights of everybody, every individual, are safeguarded. And understand, I also know the underpinnings of the politics of certain groups up country. I understand that. But we now for mix that up with the function of a chief, where Naina the chief administrator in the chiefdom. So that's what I want to comment about this Kenema district suspension. I kind of lost the name of the chiefdom of
Gorama Mende.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So
Gorama Mende chiefdom.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Jamboria. With that said, if I can take one call, then Mr. Jamboria, keep in touch. Then we're going right to you if you want for add to what I just talked about. Hello, caller. What's your name? Who's you call from? Hello.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
Yes. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Mr. Williams.
Okay, Mr. Williams. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. I did not make no address which I asked you for.
Oh, okay.
You don't make no comment about that.
Okay. I recall.
I didn't listen to the program.
Okay. I can touch on that very briefly. If I may let Mr. Jamboria.
I know you touch on that at all.
Okay, I will get to that. Let Mr. Jamboria say something, then I will get back to that. I will get to that.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Jamboria, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Before I comment on this issue, I want to inform the public that I have very great respect for traditional leaders, because I come from ruling houses, maternally as well as paternally. You see, we have been misdirected and misguided in Sierra Leone through wrong perceptions that we have built over time from bad education or miseducation. The institutions of traditional leaders, whether you call them chiefs or kings or whatever, had existed long before Europeans came to Africa. And these people were insulted when Europeans divided Africa at the Berlin Conference. If we, when at them picking them, we still they insult them, then we have to ask ourselves certain questions. Are we really worth our salt? Of course, across Africa, we don't see countries, them don't they correct that. Ghana, Botswana, etc., etc. Botswana, is an example where 3 traditional leaders decided, let us make this place for all of us. And Botswana is the only stable country in Africa, economically as well as socially today. They are getting 50% of the profits of the diamonds mined in Botswana. In Sierra Leone, we make our chiefs as lapdogs for politicians. We go put them in a parliament where they not get business for day. Alternate they vote for things them way they're not for vote for. Then we they interfere with the chieftaincies them to the extent that now even chieftaincy not even relevant. This has to stop somewhere. Why should it stop? I have the report from the hot tax war with me. Years after the thing happened, the British accepted that it was the arrogance of their commissioners that caused that war. There is a commission of inquiry report on it, which was never published until recently. The title of that commission report is Sierra Leone Report by Her Majesty's Commissioner and Correspondence on the subject of the insurrection in the Sierra Leone Protectorate, 1898, Part 1, Report and Correspondence. The evidence taken by Sir David Clamers and the document annexed and reported separately in Part 2. Anybody who wants that report, I can provide you with it. That tradition we then set, we caused the hot tax war. That same tradition we they see they go on so. Anybody they come out becoming a minister or working for central government, they go molest the chief of them. Then they subject them to psychological intimidation. Now we put you now, if you not work with we they pull you. That's now point number 1. Point number 2. A minister has no power to terminate or suspend the chief. The minister, by function, is a supervisor of a ministry. If there is an issue between the chiefdom, if we allow technical experts in the ministry for go investigate and interpret what you need for be interpreted. Thirdly, in as much as you keep talking about the Local Government Act, which I agree with you very much, there is customary law in Sierra Leone and it is recognized by the Constitution and the statutes of Sierra Leone. As a matter of fact, there is even a customary law officer in the government ministry of justice. Were these people consulted before this decision was taken? You see, we don't do one thing in Sierra Leone since after the war. We're very wrong, Mr. Shyllon. We civil service get the professional capacity for undertake a lot of things. But today it's like the minister is the only one who can think and act. So everything minister is involved in. We have so over-politicized Sierra Leone that it go better if na minister no more for act, una sack all the civil servants and let them go for another thing do. Because una they pay them unnecessarily. Every ministry gets 3 wings. And I'm not guessing about it because I lived and worked in Sierra Leone up to 1998. You get the administrative wing, headed by the permanent secretary. You get the technical wing, headed by a professional in that area. Then you get the accounting wing, headed also by somebody who is a professional in accounting. These three people work together in tandem with the minister, but they take most of the decisions and advise the minister. Today it's the minister that does everything. These people only receive instructions. That's why we are not making progress in Sierra Leone. Some of these guys acting as minister don't even know how to wash their clothes properly. They cannot run homes. So we ask simple questions. This chief was elected, and there are set procedures for paramount chieftaincy election in Sierra Leone. There are set processes before somebody they are sent to the office. If this person don't there as chief, then all of a sudden, complaints say he get friction with certain sectors of the community. Go and find out why that friction dey. Because in the first place, if that sector of the community did not want that person would not have been elected as chief. Or are they telling us they botched the election and elected somebody not capable? Now it's coming back to them, so they have to remove the person? Is that what they want us to understand? You see, we get for the play around with society in destiny. We get for the play around with society in stability. Some of us who lived in Sierra Leone during that 10 year of stupid war, we know what in most of them grudges them will be done lay dumb. Do for make that war the most destructive war that has ever been fought in Africa. We know. Then Georgia go sack chief we not deserve for sack. Chieftaincy in a lifelong something. If the people let agree say let this be with chief dede, you grab go pull am, no say inside getting on them behind them, they not go talk, but then go can they would act. Public office demand a lot of understanding of the background to the things you deal with. Secondly, it demand appropriate use of discretion. You know, you just come on or go take decision because you feel say you're a minister or kuruba or cousin of God. I think we don't reach this stage where we begin call things by their name. There is too much misbehavior up there. And these people up there should realize they are servants of the people. They are not masters of the people. That woman, yes, we see by the name Haja Mariama Kanja. We know in some parts of Sierra Leone, you not get secret societies. Like Cambia district, Karina district, you not get secret societies. There, the chieftaincy is Almamit. They call them Almamis. The other parts of Sierra Leone will get secret society. But then they live side by side. As a matter of fact, the town Magburaka is a typical example of a place where there is porous society, very active. But the people, out of compromise, then one they will not join with society. Let give their hand and let them do it. In the word burka means somebody who not a member of a society. So they gave them a buraka. They are there. The Fulani and the Madingos, the moving can mix with them. Then they. Now the tongue then they called them a burka. Do burka, as the team say. That's all, not to insult. He say, these are non-members. Let them live in peace, be what they want to be. So if today we see the reverse of that in Sierra Leone, we have to ask, why the political interference? Why the politicization and weaponization? Some years back, Professor Jimmy Kande wrote about the politicization of ethnicity in Sierra Leone, which is correct. Now we are seeing the politicization of traditional institutions. The politicization of ethnicity was one of the reasons for the last war, and it's still a reason for the divisions in Sierra Leone. If we take it one step further to politicize traditional institutions, we are asking for genocide in Sierra Leone. Then, but we are not able to wash them out properly with toothpaste. Let them left. Where Julius Madabio don't give ministerial post. Let them left. Let them not take we country back to another war. Because that's what some of us who understand the traditions and roots of Sierra Leone, they understand. They read from what in the happen. So, minister not get right for take that decision. In those days, when they want to dethrone a chief, then they set a commission of inquiry. I remember very well in the mid-60s, Compayek 2 of Koya had a problem. They wanted to remove him. A commission of inquiry was set up. After the commission done in work, now they elect a new chief. Within that period, they elected a regent chief. And the regent chief was not anybody. It is the regent chief that should be chief in the event of the death of the chief. That was the person who acted as regent chief until a new chief was elected. Today, then they go pull chief, then put any kind of person there. Now grudge they build so. And this has to stop. I would end it there, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jamboria. And about, again, just, let me just, I want to touch on two things. One, let me just touch a little bit on this. We get two contradictory or opposing views and comments, then we come. I wish the control room can post then comment, then they will come on this chieftaincy thing and the removal of the chief, so I can read them again. But then contradictory, there is one that says these, I think he meant, these societies are now known as harmful practices as they tend to violate basic human rights of local indigenous people by using these secret societies to discriminate and disadvantage them. This is one comment. It's about the societies. Okay, the other one says, I like Mr. Jamboria's reference to the political abuse of the institution of paramount chieftaincy. This, however, started with British colonialism. Current politicians are just continuing a tradition. Okay, so
that's what I said. That's why I made reference to that commissioner's report on the hot tax war. Yeah, but do we have to continue like that if we say we are an independent nation?
That was the moment we realize it's not good for us. Why are we continuing it? Why don't we use our own?
Exactly what I said in the beginning.
Yeah, so then someone just posted and say we don't have the capacity to govern ourselves as a nation. That may be true.
That's to some extent.
Yeah. So you see, and the two views that came in, I tend to that you get good views them on both sides. So sometimes it's good for begin from looking at things that way. But I've always had problems with us. Power is in our hands. We have the ability. We are controlling our own destiny. But we don't act responsibly. We want for continued policies, colonial policies that may have been good and nice and necessary
for them, for them, but not for us.
Not for us. And in fact, to be honest with you, some of those things made sense. What was good for them in many ways. We've got to look at the reality of the situation. These people have colonized we, the Africans, way out there in Africa where nobody knows, just like the Amazon. Okay? We're governing ourselves. For whatever reason, the European shows up, we decided to give up a lot of our freedom or practices or whatever. The reality is we got colonized. An argument can be made because history is replete with the reality or the fact that we sold ourselves to the white man for petty things like tobacco, salt, gunpowder.
Salt.
Yes, petty things. Very few cases in which the colonization came as a result of an armed attack. No,
Yeah.
you see, so we were not harmed. It's not that the British came and just forced us into submission. No, it's because of our stupidity, selfishness, greed, that led us to that. So, but if now, and the British people, for one reason or another, decided, or the Europeans decided to give us our independence to rule ourselves. So, practices that were in motion then were necessary because the colonies were being ruled or run by the British. So it was difficult to attract a young white woman or white man in England who knew nothing about Africa, where a country like Sierra Leone was being known as the white man's grave because of malaria and all of that. And you telling that British person to come all the way to Africa and take a job. You have to give him some incentive to make it worthwhile. So all sort of policies were put in place. You get the job, you go to Africa, we'll provide you a servant, we'll provide you security, we'll provide you quarters, we'll provide you a couple of vacations every year with your entire family to go back home to Britain or Spain or Italy, whoever the colonial master, wherever they were. So that be the incentive behind it. Per diem payment, that's how per diem came into play. But we take power, we continue the same colonial practices,
And
and anything worse. And some of these colonial practices should have long been ended. So you see, so for me, I take the position that we have the ability to stop it. So we can use the colonial masters or colonialism as a reference, but I think we should stop using it as a reason for the continuation of some of these policies that are so senseless and selfish. That is my position. Okay, but I think argument can be made on the other side. But I just want people to take that into account for say that's the reason. It's about time we begin to look out for ourselves, not to look out for the minority few who find themselves in a position of power or abuse the system for enrich themselves at the expense of the rest. You see? So let me. Okay, I like this comment. Let me read this comment. Then I will answer that. I worked at the provincial secretary's office in Kenya many months ago. Okay, where the resident minister and provincial secretary aware of this suspension.
Good question, Peter Dauda. Good question.
Yeah, I wish I can give him an answer, but I don't know if they were aware. And so I don't know. But then here comes another comment. It seems like Shyllon people have been. The writing is so small.
Have been haunted by their slaved history. A crucial decision taken by our ancestors, and its effects has contributed largely to condition our standard of living and threatening our existence as a nation. So much hate, animosity, and anger among Shyllon people. Ironically, we seem to be religious and holy by confessing with our mouth, but conflict in our heart. Oh God, please. Good one, Mr. Sise. Very good one. So. He's asking a rhetorical question.
Here comes another one. A possible solution would be to restructure and modernize the institution, which is true. I think all the institutions need restructuring. Democratic tenants demand a root and branch change to the institution. I'm all for that.
Quite correct.
I'm all for that.
Quite correct.
And
And I
I'm
want to
grateful.
inform Mr. Tylo that what he's saying was recommended in the 1991 Constitution. We would have had a two-tier parliament where paramount chiefs and other society leaders will be. They would have their level of decision making as trustees of the nation, but our intellectual class abrogated it. They went around it. As a matter of fact, the draft 1991 Constitution not been given much power to president as we have now. Now we bookman them, we'll be in the parliament that time, and then pass
Precisely.
around and create nonsense. You look at the draft of the Justice Cowan Commission, the same thing was repeated there. Now they are dragging feet on it. And now then they tell we say we don't fail because of democratic reason. Who failed you democratically? You failed yourself by the way you think.
No. But
Nobody
that is
failed you. No, there's no instrument for failure in Sierra Leone. You see, we like to misuse and abuse offices. That's our problem. We know they look, say, where are they at this office? Are they here for me and for everybody else? It's about me and me alone. So we they take decisions so even contrary to simple reasoning. Let alone we look at the legal issues surrounding some of their actions here. Not a minister in business for go suspend paramount chief. There are procedures prescribed, and these procedures have been used and tested in Sierra Leone since we got independence to now. Some of them procedures here, now procedures where they've been set in place because of lesson learned from that hot tax war.
Mhm.
Now we dey bypass them procedures there for create genocide. Yes, you go do an akenema, we go talk am. If you go do an aside, we know to SLPP stronghold. When something grab, they then say, oh, them people long grab. Then begin call them terrorists. Who created terrorism? It's your minister. When a big man, they fail for use discretion properly, it create terrorism. And if terrorism happen, I'm irresponsible. I am not afraid to say that.
Let me respond to one of our callers' inquiry. He asked two questions. Number one is say somebody they get convicted when in case they're on appeal. There are certain aspects of the facts where I not seem to understand, but I could try for recapitulate or repeat the fact as they tell me. Okay, the person went to trial, he was found guilty, he was convicted. He appealed in case they're on appeal. But he also was having time for the conviction. It appears as if they not be granted bail at the time. So he was having his time for whatever the sentence he received. Then he got sick in the process while he was in prison. So he sought special permission for make them allow him to be released from prison for sick medical treatment. Okay, that's one understanding I get of this person. So now the question is, this person, now they say they issue a bench warrant for him. This person will then grant permission for come abroad or out of the country for can seek medical treatment. Apparently this person, and the caller can correct me if I misstate anything. Apparently this person, while abroad, he continue for exercising constitutional rights, but probably saying negative things about the authorities or the government, which I don't think it's a wise idea, but I think by law he has a right just because he's on bond, he's out on bond, doesn't mean he shouldn't express himself as the law allows. But I don't think it's a smart thing to do. That's a practical thing to do. You keep quiet until the outcome of your appeal. But it seems like now the government moves back and say, recall this man in bond and get him back in prison, and manage convince the court for issue a bench warrant. So the main issue here is he in violation of the condition of his release? So when he was being released, there was no condition of you can't criticize the government, you can't criticize the system, you can't say this, you can't say that. So if they can point out certain specific condition that he's in violation of, that may be a basis, a justifiable basis to go back to court and ask the court to retract, to withdraw in bond and for they come back to prison, which lead to the issuance of the bench warrant. But if you're not in violation of any condition of release, I don't see how for issue a bench warrant for him just because. Again, like I said, as a practical matter, in your common sense for challenge, say they will do that if you start criticizing when he's out on bond. But as a matter of law, he may have the right to do so. The point I'm making here is for those of us who live in the Western world, even Australian self, I will use this analogy. You drive in a vehicle, you are approaching a stoplight. The stoplight is green. And that's a clear indication that you have the right to proceed, to go. On your peripheral side of it, or your angle, what we can call corner eye, you figure a vehicle that come at 80 miles an hour, high speed, approach the same intersection, where presumably that vehicle, the in your light, will be red. But you get a clear green light, so there is no doubt that you get the right for proceed. But if you peripheral view, you see, say, a vehicle that come at a high rate of speed and it is likely that it was not going to stop, your common sense tells you, say, don't proceed even though you get a green light, because an accident will likely occur and you may get killed in the process. In fact, we have a slang or a colloquial form of presenting, and they say you may be right, all right, but you will be dead right. So it does you no good if the person on the other side, where they come from your right hand or your left hand, come with high speed and bang you. They say, well, let me get right of way, if you will get the opportunity to say that. So this person will get the bond, which is out on bond, and common sense for telling, say, no, agitate the people that wouldn't let you out. Unless you don't make a calculation that they will never, you're not going to come back again, you're not going to serve the remainder of your time. So I don't know, it may be a wise idea, but theoretically, that's my position. He also called about, this person also called about a caller who can call Mr. Kagbo in show, he can call with show, and he tend to be defensive of the current administration, and they get into analysis and all that in there. Well, the good thing about we show, and I go plead with the rest of us, with listeners, let's be more tolerant, because we're not going to share the same view. If this person, they come and he thinks he get a need for defend the government and is not listening to reasoning, let it be. As long as it's not disruptive, it's respectful, and I think we can tolerate him. The three young men can tolerate him, I think. I don't think we have any problem with him. He can call, and he can be as defensive of he can take any position as long as it's respectful. Also, we not try for suppress any different view. Because we don't get view other than the neutral position that we would take. We don't get view one way or the other in terms of supporting one group of people. So if anybody call a one for try for say something else, I will go try for tolerate as best as we can. The only time where with tolerance go run out if the person tried to be disrespectful, you know, to we the host as well as to other callers. But so I just want to play to Suna who are getting disgusted of that caller day. Let we tolerate them. Let we just subject them to the rules as long as he's not being recalcitrant. I think I can do it, and I've just the plea to now. For say, let him be part of our listeners. And if he not going to contribute anything, but he just want for oppose, let it be. I don't think it will affect we that much anyway. All right, let me take one more call. I think this will be the last call because we completely out of time. Hello, caller. What you know your name side to call from?
Yes, this is for Mustafa again. I just want to talk about the paramount chief they wanna just talk about.
Okay.
You see, then people the government or the executive, because of what we talk about the law who gets, then they gradually take powers them from the people them gradually, they want to get everything on their own. This is not a coincidence. Every day, if now watch parliamentary sitting, then you see other paper, what you talk about. You see the minister don't present this bill. The minister now no more than they out. This minister of local government last 2022, now can go that law, only give himself powers. As usual, the parliament pass all. Because anytime the government go with a document, then in a simple majority, then they pass them. So now make you like say yeah or nay or something they pass them. So they talk when they talk all no matter the argument. That's so constitution don't put things them. Then you talk down they differ with this differ. They say after they talk all that talk, they say yeah or nay, then vote it pass. It don't go the even when remember then we don't go back for remove the jury trial. Imagine the whole world which they say murder or then kind of case then the treason they say they use a jury. Then because they lost power to one point the country in case they say jury they corrupt jurors them. So they scrap them. All the laws every day, then they can't go to parliament, then go adjust them to their own. I go suit them. And specifically this minister of local government, even the mayor of them now, he get power for pull and come out. He did it. So it is not that we not for go before if we want go before, but as long as the parliament, the judiciary, they do what the executive want, this is the result. And we're not going for go before, we just continue for go be. In the next 10 years, if they not change that constitution, the power, small power, the way people can get, then people let them go, don't grab, small, see, they take all things and get them go. So now that's our add for this conversation. And I thank you. We'll go talk next week.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mustafa. I appreciate it. And that's the last call. Let me
I just want to ask one question.
Yes, sir.
If man they dig hole say he no able come inside the hole again, who do I go blame? Let them they dig the hole.
Now himself.
Mr. Shyllon, we don't reach the stage where we for begin tell we people them in governance the truth and don't say it with quoted words. They are digging so many holes that very soon they will not be able to come out of these holes. Remember we'll begin this program, I say, the man say, we Chief Belful now they pass law. But Sengo can the law they catch not so?
Correct.
This law where they talk about libel law, this and that, now Albert Magai been passed in 1965. 30 days they hunt them. So let them they make the laws they're no more well and good. The day go come, the hole go down dig, where they not able to commodity. When you tell Pikin say left, you not agree, left and let the fire burn yan. Not so?
Yep.
Ah well, so me not say constitution or no constitution. If these people we are talking to them in the most decent way, let them understand, say what you are doing will come back to haunt you one day. Then they refuse for one and they do more. Fine. Time is the best teacher. Then get a parable where they say experience teacheth fools. That they go come. We get procedures na Sierra Leone. Why
Oh, I
una
know.
for the bypass them procedures here? Who is fooling who? Who is fooling who? Or do these guys think they are going to be there until thy kingdom come? Or do they think they are going to remain young until thy kingdom come? A few years ago, I saw myself as a young man. Now I'm asking myself, boy, April, you are going to be 70. Are you still a young man?
Yeah, you're still a young man, boy.
I am
Yeah.
asking. It's not about me being a young man, but
No,
I'm
I'm
asking
just
because
joking. Yeah.
it's dawning on me that what was is no longer. It will dawn on them soon that what was is no longer. And then, you know, they take this long go. Then they dig the hole for themselves. They don't dig and deep. This drug issue, this misuse of power internally, the accumulation of that is coming. And the hole will be so deep they're not able to come out. Honestly. Not so the people of Sierra Leone, they dig the hole for them, now themselves they dig their own hole. Because of misuse and abuse of discretion. Public officials should be careful about use of discretion. Anybody will study administration properly, no say, before you take decision, you get for look left, you look right, look front, look back, look up, look down, you ask, how will this play out if I take this decision? But this pauper mentality, I think very soon this pauper mentality, it get for turn to Makoko mentality. I don't know if they know say Makoko, they na Lagos. Now the biggest slum in Africa. They are digging a slum place for themselves. They are creating a slum place for themselves. All what in the happens in Sierra Leone, not get for last two. That change will they go through gradually. And it's time Sierra Leoneans begin to understand that good can be good, but we can also be bad. The difference between good and bad, na smooth movement, just like joy and sorrow, love and hate, now smooth transition, hot and cold. Now we are on the side of the negatives. But whoever is involved in that negative, get for no say, the transition is smooth. When the good they come, now one morning they wake you see say good don't come. That's how you dey inside deep hole. Because you don't destroy what in then call the humanity in you. If they understand what in some of who they talk, then go take caution. If they don't understand, let them continue. For they use Bagbati as Timini man say paopa. One day, then go talk and say somebody been they talk, this will not believe.
Now, two, three things. Number one, there was a third topic we definitely cannot get to. We were going to deal with the Dutch journalist who was detained in Sierra Leone, and for us deal with the issues of the detention, again, purely from legal and factual grounds, but we didn't have time to get to that. So we will hopefully, maybe we will touch base on that next time around. We'll get two, three comments if the control room can post them latest comment there. Let me just read them, and then we'll wrap up with that. Because it's good. Comment number one, I like Mr. Jamboria's reference to the political abuse. No, not that one. There's another one. Two will just come. No, there is another one. Another one came shortly.
Peter
Yes.
Dauda.
Yeah, something came. If you see it, Mr.
Check
Jamboria, you can read
for
it.
Peter Dauda.
The last two will come.
Yeah, it's not this now one.
Okay, thank God
Thank
it was
God.
just a paramount chief who was suspended and not a vice president who was illegally sacked by you know who. Okay.
Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Dauda wants to politicize the issue.
Yeah. Then the other comment is the laws are
They
clear.
all are the same, Mr. Dauda. They all are the same people. Now I
The
make
laws
it, they
are
see all this rubbish they go on, the APC, the same thing. They all are the same people. Then they work in tandem with each other.
Okay, somebody says the laws are clear and when implemented, we should respect the parliamentary process making these laws. I'm not so sure about that, but I would take issue with that, whether the laws are clear, because some of the laws within the past are very vague. Okay? So they are not as clear as you may think. And then the process, the parliamentary processes by which they pass these laws are highly questionable. They not follow the parliamentary procedure at all. So I not tend to agree with this caller, but we don't have time to deal with that much at all. And then one last one is from Mr. Tyler. He said, to my mind, the bailee in question, meaning the person who is out on bail because of an appeal, in question may not have had any restriction on him, but the fact is he was let out to get appropriate medical attention, and now that he appears healthy, he should return to the law. Well, okay, so that's the comment there. All right, so let's take it as it is. He's been released, so he should return to prison or to the law or whatever. But so these are questions. So we appreciate the comments that they come in. This just show the different points of views we get from our listeners there, and we greatly appreciate it. So we want to thank you all for listening, despite the fact that we started somewhat late, and we're glad and we greatly appreciate your dedication to we show, and we hope to be back next week, and we hope we all do make meaningful contribution. We all meaning with the host, the listeners, and so on and so forth. So until then, until next week, Sunday, same time, thank you very much, all of you.